This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
Good morning and welcome to AM Joy. Well, there's a lot of news to get to this morning. Day 30 of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, including Donald Trump's supposed compromise plan on immigration, floated in a speech that didn't even mention the shutdown. But we start with today marking exactly 2 years since Donald Trump's inauguration and his speech promising to end an era of what he called American carnage. So what has actually been the American carnage? Well, one might argue that it's been 2 years of this.
I'm establishing new vetting measures to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of the United States of America. We don't want them here.
DHS, let's be clear. Refugees are welcome here.
This shouldn't be happening. It's just inhumane to be happening.
The president is arresting children and arresting babies because Mexico refused to pay for his wall. One question that has continued to worry many observers of this crisis and continues to worry us tonight, even with this new reporting, is where are the girls? Where are the babies?
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. They had these beautiful soft towels, very good towels, and I came. There was a crowd of a lot of people, and they were screaming, and they were loving everything. And I was having fun. They were having fun. They said, throw them to me, Mr. President. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it.
I'm donating plasma. I'm cutting back on anything that we don't need. Those are things I haven't ever had to do before. Yeah, I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Joy.
So Donald Trump gave a speech yesterday afternoon, 4 o'clock or so in the afternoon, in which he proposed what he's calling a compromise on immigration. We did a word count on it. He mentioned drugs 6 times. He mentioned crime or the word criminal 5 times. He said the word gang 3 times. He only said the word shutdown once, and he said the word federal workers no times. He did not even mention them at all. What was your reaction, sir, to that speech?
He also didn't say the words that I and so many people in America were hoping he would say, which was that he is going to immediately open up government. Believe it or not, Joy, just a couple nights ago, I joined volunteers in downtown Washington, D.C., outside where many of the federal agencies are, and served dinners to federal workers. And it was pretty hard to watch FBI uniformed police officers standing in line to get a dinner because they're working so hard, so bravely, and not getting paid. One person leaned into me as I was serving a chicken sandwich and soup and asked if I could give her 2 more for her kids at home. And this is the United States of America. These are, working class folks, and we see that just one paycheck being missed for so many of us can really just knock us off our course and set us back. So people want to hear that he's going to open up government. They don't want to see him negotiate, away this issue by asking us to accept a wall so that he releases federal workers or that he gives a path for the dreamers. They just want government open.
Yeah. And look, just to your point, I want to show our audience, and hopefully you can see it there where you are. This is a report from our NBC Washington Bureau. Tracy Wilkins is the reporter on it, showing federal workers actually lining up to get food due to the shutdown. Take a look.
Many of the folks in this line have worked for the federal government for decades.
30-something years.
And don't know what it's like to go without a check. That's how Nicole feels.
I think I cry like every day.
And this mom who works for the IRS.
I have 2 sons, and they know, and I'm like, Mommy's going to stand in line today for food,
Never thought you'd be here.
Never thought.
Donald Trump didn't talk about those people yesterday. He had nothing to say to them. He just talked about crime and gangs and criminals and characterizing people from Central America as this criminal gang of people. He didn't also talk to Democrats, by the way, before making up his idea for what to do about immigration. If you could talk to the president today and have 5 minutes with him, what would you tell him?
I would urge the president to open up government and assure him that what he wants, he is getting. He is going to get border security, increased border patrol agents, increased technology to go after the ports of entry where 90% of the drugs are coming through, and where there are vulnerabilities, there will be a barrier. That's what we all want, and he says he wants border security. The sea to shining sea wall, which he can't really even articulate, and I don't think he even understands what that is. He's not going to get it because, one, it's an immoral symbol of the United States, which is supposed to be welcoming, but two, it's also not effective when you can go over it, go under it, or cut through it. And so if he really wants border security, I'm afraid, Joy, I don't think that's really what this is about. I think the last thing Donald Trump cares about is actually having a wall. I think this is more about the other walls that are closing in around him on the Mueller investigation, on what we're starting to learn about the emoluments clause, and I think he's just trying to change the narrative and make it about him, and sadly these families suffer.
We are out of time, but really quickly, you're in South Carolina. Are you running for president?
I'm considering it, Joy. I'm down here in Greenville. I was at the Greenville Women's March yesterday, and they keep marching, and they've made a lot of progress since 2 years ago when they started. So, but it's a lot more to work for.
Keep us posted. If you decide to run, we have a great idea for a place you can announce. All right, thank you very much.
That's right.
Congressman
All right.
Eric
Thanks, Joy.
Swalwell. Thank you. All right, let's bring in our panel. Natasha Bertrand.